Hey, what's up, everybody?
How's it going, everyone?
So you don't want to look right at that camera, wave hi to the people.
Hello, everybody.
So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff like this year, and we're kicking it off with a mock draft because we're pulling our league numbers tonight, and we wanted to do this draft before we even know what we're drafting. And you guys you can see everything we can see right now. So we're right here. I'm looking up at the PC. We decided that we want to draft from the 7 spot because you were saying what 7 and 8's usually traditionally.
Typically in a 10-man league, 7 and 8 traditionally is the worst spot to be in a league for drafting positions. So we thought it might be fun to draft in that spot to give people in our league, whoever that might be, could be you or I, an idea of what your team could look like in that spot. Then we'd love to hear some responses to get some thoughts on. What do you think that team? How do you feel about the team that's being drafted in that spot? Do you think
we're gonna
it's a contender?
We're gonna have a super team.
Yeah, or do you think like, oh no, yeah, I don't want to be there at 7. So let's find out. Let's find out.
All right, so we're doing it's gonna be 10 teams, just like our league, all the same league format. So 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, flex, quarterback, kicker, defense, same amount of bench spots. So without further ado, here we go.
Get it on.
Let's begin the draft. Zoom out a little bit so we can see everything. Begin. Let's go back up. All right, so that pretty much went how I thought it was going to go.
I think it's kind of what people are going in.
And I mean,
first 6 picks.
To me, I don't even think it's a question who I want to take here. I want Davante Adams.
You want Davante
I want Davante Adams. To me at this point, you've got the top tier running backs off the board. Normally, I'd be Melvin Gordon all day long. I'm a Melvin Gordon truther. I love Melvin Gordon. He's got contract disputes going on right now, and we just got news today.
The talks is, even before the news today, the talks is if he was not getting his contract extension, he was going to hold out.
Yeah, so it's not looking good. It's not looking good for Melvin Gordon right now.
But we just want to say, let's mark the date today here. It's July 22nd. I think, in my opinion, if this contract situation gets worked out for him, there probably wouldn't be much of a conversation, and I probably would be taking Melvin Gordon in the 7th spot. But I think, I think
like
going with the issues of the uncertainty of camp and does he show up, maybe Davante Adams is the safe pick here at 7.
He's solid, man. I love him. Absolutely love him. We going Davante Adams?
Going Davante Adams.
Yeah, so I mean, if we go him, I'd like to see someone like, if we do decide to go running back with the 2nd pick, maybe a Joe Mixon, a James Conner, there's a chance one of them will come back. Well, let's see. This is what's good about mocking. You get to see different things.
Here goes Jordan Bell.
As Conner. All right, so we do have Joe Mixon. Which, I mean, he has the potential to be a top 5 running back, no question. Who else do we got here? We got Dalvin Cook, which I like a lot this year. He comes with some concern. He has been injured.
Another guy that has fallen clearly down here.
Todd Gurley.
I mean, this is a guy that was arguably a top 3 pick last year. Performed like a top 3 pick.
Arthritis in the knee.
The knee issue leading late into the last year, and then all the offseason talk in regards to how much time are they going to give him the ball. I don't know. Being in this position, I like Todd Gurley a lot. Sitting here and
it's risk reward. It's risk reward because I mean the thing is if we take Gurley, we have to remember later on we need to take Darrell Henderson. We have to handcuff him, and he's going to be an early handcuff.
Well, that's
you're talking a 6th, 7th round pick.
That is true based upon what else you might see for what else you may draft. If you end up with 3 or 4 running backs that you love, I don't think you need to chase a handcuff.
Yeah, I mean, and then the other thing, you got Travis Kelce too, man.
I know that's the tight end fix.
I mean, he's a beast.
I'm sure we've all heard, unbelievable or not, you're no longer losing their superstar wide receiver. You're seeing no suspension at all.
Tyreek Hill.
That's unbelievable. I mean, that's a big game changer. I think that definitely would increase the value of a Travis Kelce.
Well, I'm with you. I think running back falls off a cliff. To me, it's between Joe Mixon and Todd Gurley.
Cincinnati, new manager.
They scare
me.
Right,
new coach. So you don't know what the offense is going to be like.
They just lost one of their offensive linemen too.
Me personally, I'm going Todd Gurley here. Joe Mixon could end up being the better pick. Maybe even going Juju Schuster in that number 1 wide receiver spot.
I like Juju as well.
And going a no
running back strategy
is not a bad thing either. But then you have the questions: Can Juju step up as the number one?
I think he can.
We no longer have Antonio Brown there on the opposite side of him, seeing the better coverage. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a bunch of question marks with the next few guys that are coming up. I preferably like Todd Gurley.
Well, I talked you into Devontae Adams, so let's take Todd Gurley.
All right.
Let's take
All
Todd Gurley here. Damian Williams right after. That's surprising.
Well, they say he's the number one guy. He's going to get the
Look
opportunity.
at that. Oh, man. So
Let's take a look here. What do we got going on?
scroll down a little bit here. There it is. So, yeah, so you got Marlon Mack right before us, which stinks. I do like Mack a lot. Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. Mike Evans, I'm super high on this year. I like the Bucs offense with Bruce Arians going there.
I like Arians.
Oh, man. Dalvin Cook almost made it back. I would have loved that.
What do we see at,
With that being said,
running back?
We've got Aaron Jones, man. Aaron Jones in Green Bay, but the question is, do you want the double stack of Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones? I'm not one. I usually don't like having a wide receiver and running back from the same team. It really limits your floor.
I think that depends on the
But
offense
when you're
as
on
well.
Green Bay's offense, that's an exception.
When your quarterback throws 2 interceptions for the entire season,
Yeah.
you want everybody for their offense.
You're going to have a healthy
on
Aaron
your
Rodgers,
team.
so
Yeah. And I also
I'm not touching for now.
another team
I'm not
where
touching
the head coach has changed again. So still very curious to see what type of offense Green Bay will be. But I think with a savvy veteran like Aaron Rodgers, not too much will change when it comes to what he does.
Sure.
I think Aaron Jones is a safe pick. You love the tight end. There's another tight end, Zach Ertz, hanging around.
Well,
out
let's just take a glance here. If we don't take Aaron Jones, what else do we have for running backs?
Yeah,
We've got a
what's
short
available
turnaround.
at running backs?
So we've got Devonta Freeman. We've got Derrick Henry.
You know-
Josh Jacobs I like a lot.
You can click on the ERB, right?
Absolutely.
And we get a real good idea right now for these guys.
Let me go back up. So I love Kerryon Johnson too. Honestly, I'd be fine. I would be fine with any of these.
Yes.
And in my opinion, I think T.Y. Hilton's the pick right here. I think T.Y. Hilton has a chance to be a top 5 running back with Andrew Luck healthy.
I'm sorry, you mean wide receiver?
I'm sorry, wide receiver.
You like Andrew, huh?
Yeah, I like him a lot this year. It's his first. He was back last year, but he was shaking the rust off for a while. You really saw him come on midway towards the end of the season. He has a full year back now.
So, we talked about this outside, at work. We've been talking about this. I'm a big believer in Amari Cooper this year. So I'll make a deal with you. We'll go T.Y. Hilton. If Amari Cooper comes back, I want him. I don't think he's going to make it back yet, to be honest, in the fourth round. But if he comes back, I love the idea of T.Y. Hilton, Devontae Adams, and Amari Cooper.
All right, well, let's see what happens. That's why we mock. Amari Cooper next pick.
Yeah,
so Aaron Jones.
I'm a believer in
Mahomes.
Full off season.
Carry on.
There
I
goes
really like carry
Johnson,
on,
huh?
but I also like Devonta Freeman.
I also like George Kittle.
Yeah, so I think Kittle's bound for a lot of regression. Kittle was the only really offensive weapon last year. I mean, they brought a bunch of wide receiver talent in the draft. You've got a healthy Dante Pettis now. I personally think, you do have a quarterback upgrade in Jimmy Garoppolo. Kittle was targeted like 140-something times last year for a tight end. That is ridiculous.
I still think he'll see over 100 targets this year.
He might. He's the best, one of the best offensive weapons in that offense. You could be right.
Guys, here, you're looking here in round 4, there's still great options here. We're talking Kittle, Devontae Freeman. Why not a bounce back for Devontae Freeman in that Atlanta offense? Why not?
So Atlanta.
Why not Stephon Diggs?
Atlanta offense this year, I think, is going to be awesome. They've got a new, old offensive coordinator back. Sarkisian's gone, who was a bum. I think their offense is going to take a step forward. And the best part, they're playing almost all of their games in a dome this year. They're one of, by far, in all the NFL, that most of their games are in a dome. And if you look at Matt Ryan's numbers in a dome, they are fantastic, which is going to lead to, Atlanta's offense getting more leads. And they're going to be running the ball with Freeman. The question is, can he stay healthy? If he does, this is a guy that can be a top 5 back.
And let's not forget, guys, we've also seen his counterpart that's been a big part of that offense move over to San Francisco. So I think that's just
Oh,
more.
Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, I understand
Yeah.
that they have Ito and Ito Smith.
Ito
Fine,
Ito
but
Smith
Ito
is not
Smith
that
is
good.
not Coleman.
He's not.
He's not Devontae Freeman, and I think Devontae Freeman does go back to being a solid RB1 for sure.
Do we take Freeman?
I love it.
All right, let's go Freeman here.
Too afraid of Fournette, huh, Eddie?
Not touching him. Not touching him. All right, so whoops. So for T.Y., Devonta Freeman. So that's interesting. You're seeing this a lot in mocks with Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks going back to back.
In my personal opinion, the number one wide receiver is still on the board for the Rams.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp, but
I
coming back from that ACL,
I like it.
I don't know. He's gonna take a while to get going.
Didn't stop Julian Edelman.
Yeah, but Edelman hurt his in preseason. Cooper Kupp hurt his midway through the season. So he's right on the cusp of healing from that. I think he will get going. I think it's going to take a while. I mean,
as a wide receiver
we've got
3?
I would definitely take him, I mean, as a wide receiver 3.
Well, that's technically what he would be for us.
But, I mean, there's other intriguing wide receiver options right now. There's other intriguing running back options. Chris Godwin. I am huge on Chris Godwin this year. And that offense,
Buying the hype.
Yeah, I mean, Deshaun Jackson is gone. I think Chris Godwin could take a step forward. He's got an unbelievable skill set. He can be a burner. I like him. I like Godwin a lot. And then talking about burners, I mean, you have Mr. Touchdown himself, Calvin Ridley. But once again, we already have a piece of Atlanta's offense in Devonta Freeman. I wouldn't mind kind of, I don't know. This is tough. Who else we got here?
Yeah, let's look down a little bit here.
Let's look down. So we get James White, there's Carson, Tyler Lockett, O.J. Howard, Landry.
See,
Rogers.
Landry's an intriguing guy for me because
I mean, Odell's
he's a standalone. He's a
yeah.
standalone great wide receiver. Now the attention that defenses have to pay
It's
to
going to be
Odell
Odell
Beckham,
Beckham.
I think Jarvis Landry really can have a very sneaky great year, especially with the chemistry that he's already built in that offense with the quarterback of last year anyway. I like him a lot.
All right, so to me personally here, looking at our team makeup, we've got Devontae Adams solid, we've got T.Y. solid. So I feel good about our wide receiver core. So let me see. Let me zoom this out a little bit. But Todd Gurley and Devonta Freeman, both with injury issues, that makes me a little nervous. I almost feel like I want to take a running back here. And to me,
we'll say it gets questionable quick.
It does. I mean, running
back
has fallen off a cliff already.
Now, we know for sure, guys, now don't get us wrong, we know for sure that there'll be several players off what you see remaining. They're going to turn into RB1s, high-end RB2s.
Yeah, the James Connors of last year.
We understand that. It happens every fantasy year, and that's not the question. But just looking at the overall names, nobody here can comfortably sit there and say that they know that this guy is going to be the guy.
Keep in mind, we need to get Darrell Henderson at some point.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if, depending on who we draft here.
I think we have to. All right, well, let's go back and take a look again. So to me, Kenyon Drake is supposed to be the guy in Miami. I just think that offense is going to be putrid. So I don't know how I feel about Kenyon Drake. I know he's talented, but I like Chris Godwin here, man. I really like Chris Godwin. How do you feel about it, though?
No, I don't have a problem with taking another one.
I'd be fine, honestly, if we went Chris Godwin and took James White on the turn.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that Sony Michel falls
in a full PPR league, which we're playing in. James White was a stud last year. Again, Sony, Rex Burkhead, a lot of people went down, but you have Gronk out of the picture. Edelman's thumb is apparently banged up. They're saying he's going to be fine, but you could see White being used a lot in the passing game like last year. Let's take Ridley and see if White comes back.
You're gonna go Calvin Ridley?
I'm sorry,
Chris Godwin.
Chris
Yeah.
Godwin.
Here goes the run on quarterbacks. Not panicking, people.
James White, one pick before us.
There he goes. And Sony, too.
Yeah, so that being said, I think Kenyon Drake's a value now. I really do.
Well, let's take a look again at that RB list.
So obviously you could go with someone like Lamar Miller, who you know what Lamar Miller is. He's going to be that mid-end running back too. He's never going to flash, but he's always consistently going to give you between that 8 and 12 points a week. He is a starting running back on a high-powered offense. You're just hoping he runs in and gets a touchdown. He does have a very talented running back behind him in Deonta Foreman, but Foreman's coming off that Achilles tear. We could potentially look at him later.
Yeah.
But, you got Rashad Penny, which they're saying he potentially could split time with Chris Carson 50-50. I just don't know how I feel about Seattle's offense either. So there's some lottery tickets at running back down the line, but I would like to get a running back that I know is going to get touches here. Someone that we know is going to put up points. To me, that's two people right now. That's Kenyon Drake and Lamar Miller. I think that, Kenyon Drake is going to be the starting running back. We know Lamar Miller is going to be the starting running back. Deonta Foreman might take his job eventually.
Well, we're getting good value, so we're looking at a running back that right now sits as an overall 54. At an overall 47, and we're getting him at pick 54. So we're already gone past what his projections say he should, they say he should go. So I mean, you want to solidify your running back position?
I vote Kenyon Drake.
That's fine.
Tariq Cohen, he is what he is. He's a gadget player, but they've got David Montgomery this year, a lot different skill set than Jordan Howard. David Montgomery can catch the ball. You may see Tariq Cohen off the field even more often, so I lean Drake. Let's take Drake. Come on. I know exactly who I want to come back to us. And he did. Hunter Henry.
You ready, huh?
Yeah.
Ready for the Hunter Henry show.
So this is my tier break right here. If we don't take Hunter Henry, we are not taking a tight end for a while.
Well, let's take a look at that tight end list. Can we see it?
Because the two tight ends that I'm in love with this year are, the ones that are left is Hunter Henry and Vance McDonald. I'm all about Vance McDonald this year. The Steelers had a ton of pass catchers vacate. Jesse James is gone. So Vance McDonald is the guy. Antonio Brown's gone. So to me, the main benefactor on that offense, the one that's been there, that Ben trusts, is Vance. So I feel really good about Vance McDonald, but I don't think we need to take him yet. I think he will probably make his way back to us. Hunter Henry won't. Hunter Henry's going to be gone. But he's another very talented tight end, lost to injury, but he had an entire offseason to get over that injury. He potentially could have played last year if they went further into the playoffs. But, who else do we got? I mean, Lamar Miller's still sitting there, man.
I have the well, can we see up a little bit? He's not making the turn.
Who's that?
Hunter Henry. Can you go up, though? Do you mind if you go up a little bit here?
And see who's down here?
No, I want to see the drafted players already. I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, guys, just to give you an idea what I was looking at, I was hoping that these three guys that were preceding us, that all three had drafted a tight end. Then we didn't have to panic, right? Then we could have made a good decision on grabbing a guy like Lamar Miller, knowing that Hunter Henry would fall to us, because realistically, no one would take two tight ends in the first 7 rounds. But unfortunately, only one of those teams has a tight end on their roster. So now it's a coin flip. Will they take Hunter Henry?
He's gone.
Yeah, he may not.
He's gone. He'll be gone.
So we've got 3 running backs. We've got 3 wide receivers. We're definitely in a good position to take a player that we believe can potentially be top 5 in his position as a starter now.
So my thing is,
because at that point, guys, let's be honest, we're now any wide receiver running back potentially at this point is protecting an injury, or somebody that you're stashing in hopes that they can maybe leap someone that might be underperforming. But
So
our 6 starters here, they're selected. They've been selected.
I still think we need to take Daryl Henderson.
Well, let's see. Well, you'll definitely be able to see him next round.
Do you want to take Hunter, or do we take
No,
Daryl
let's take
Henderson
Hunter
now and
Henry.
take Vance?
No, we definitely think Hunter.
All right.
I believe more in Hunter Henry as number one with Phillip Rivers than I do
All right.
in trusting Ben to his tight end.
Shit. Oh, so Henderson's gone.
Back-to-back running backs, by the way.
So again, I'm still not even really looking at quarterback. So we've got Mahomes, Luck, Rodgers, Baker, Deshaun off the board. I am high on Matt Ryan this year, but there are so many late round quarterbacks this year that are so goddamn good.
I think this is a good opportunity right now to maybe, when you get to these mid rounds, I think it's a good opportunity when you, especially you got a good base for your starters, to start looking at some guys that potentially could bring real value.
Yeah, you want to find people that are going to
For
pop.
me, where we think that we might be a little weak with, I should say weak, potentially high risk injury guys, I think we can use the risk and value on a running back here. And someone that also is coming off an injury, I like a lot in Darius
No.
Guice.
Not touching them.
I love Guice.
Not touching them. So guys.
This is a tough guy to draft with.
So
just so
Geis
you know.
is.
Tough guy to
I was
draft
huge. This is the only reason I was huge on Geis last year. I did a shit ton of research on him. He popped in the preseason, just like I thought he was going to, and then he had the ACL tear. Done. The problem is, if that was the case, it was preseason last year. That's fine. He had to get 3 follow-up surgeries due to complications and infection. So he was fighting back from that. So all of his rehab went out the window, and then just recently, he pulled his hamstring.
I saw that.
Hamstring injuries linger on running backs throughout the season, especially one coming off an ACL.
Well, we don't
So
know what we don't know what grade of hamstring. It could have been nothing, but
And-
they just said, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna risk nothing, so you're done."
And dude, I mean, Washington, who the hell? We don't even know who the quarterback's going to be
We do.
at this point.
I think we have a good idea who that would be.
So they've got what's his face? Oh my God, his name's escaping me right now. The backup they just picked up, Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they picked up Case Keenum, and they've got the other, I think the rookie. But I don't know. And you still have Adrian Peterson there, who balled out last year. So I don't know. I'm not big on Geis.
Old legs. Peterson's old legs.
He didn't look old legs last year, man. He was hauling it. To me, if I'm talking a value pick, I'm looking at Robbie Anderson here. Robbie Anderson blew up at the end of last season. I mean,
Besides the fact that we all know that Robbie Anderson needs to eat a sandwich.
Sam Darnold, man, he figured something out at the second half of last season, and he came on. Him and Robbie had a connection going, so that's how Kyle won his championship. And Kyle's team went off with Robbie Anderson, so I think Robbie Anderson's intriguing. The other person, I don't know. You know, Sammy Watkins, I would have said would have been a value, but with Tyreek not being suspended, I don't feel as great.
Yeah, like the offense is going to go through. It's going to go through Tyreek and Travis Kelce, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
And we don't know that. We don't know what Damian Williams will be. I mean, they believe that for them. They
Well,
believe he's their guy.
I'll put it
I'm
this
not
way,
sure
you-
that I believe in
You
him.
talk me into Hunter Henry. I'm going to take Robbie Anderson here as
Okay.
my pick. I'll let you take the next pick.
All right, guys. Here comes Darius Guice. I don't think he's going to
Yeah.
get back to us. He didn't.
That poor team won. It's a landmine.
It can be. One is great for getting that number one position, but then waiting 20 picks before you can make your second one can be a tough place to be.
So here's a running back situation that does intrigue me is Rojo, Ronald Jones. So very high draft capital last year. He did nothing at all. But again, I think Tampa Bay's offense is going to take a big step forward. And I mean, he's got what is it, Peyton Barber? I think ahead of him, which Peyton Barber's not that good. So, you know, if Ronald Jones, apparently he did bulk up a little bit. If he can take over that role, there could be value this late in the draft.
Well, let's be honest, right? When did David Johnson have his best years? And I understand
Under
he's
Bruce
got all-
Arians.
Okay, you're making my point though. That's kind of where I was going. I know that he's battled some injuries the last couple of years, but you know what? He did not play great last year. And I think Arians does work some magic when it comes to running backs.
So my 2 cents to you. This is your pick. You can do what you want. So obviously there's someone like Rojo, but you could keep in mind we have Eckler and Royce Freeman. I'm fine taking either of those, especially Eckler. If Melvin Gordon does sit out on the year, Eckler's value just skyrockets. So to me,
Yeah,
it's all running backs and tight ends here.
I mean, at this point, I always think it's in your best interest to take a starter when you know it's a starter, and Ronald Jones is that right now. Eckler,
Peyton Barber's technically the starter, but
yeah, I don't trust him to be a. I don't know. I don't love Peyton Barber. I'm
I don't either.
I'm not even sure where he's ranked. To be honest with you, folks, I'm not even sure where Peyton Barber is ranked. But my pick here for running back depth, I'm probably looking at.
So Peyton Barber's 136.
Yeah.
So his ADP is the 13th round.
Right.
So people are drafting.
Yeah, I like Ronald Jones here.
People are drafting Jones as the starter.
I think with Bruce Arians there, and a lot of that offense taking a step forward, I think Ronald Jones could have a nice year, and I think he's going to be the number one back.
All right, let's do it. I'm fine just going crazy on running backs now and hoping one hits as a lottery pick.
I also believe that, and as I thought would. I also,
Everyone else felt that way
Yeah.
too. But Eckler, man, we still have Eckler. But the quarterback I'm eyeballing, ADP wise, is coming out. I am all in on Cam Newton this year. All in on Cam Newton.
Cam. Oof.
They're saying his shoulder's fine. You pick up Cam Newton this late, when he's healthy, easily a top 5 running back. I mean, I'm calling a running back quarterback.
See, he got it right.
Well,
he just likes to run.
Yeah.
The guy likes to run. This is the problem for him, I believe. It's not his arm power. It's his lack of accuracy, which leaves him running more than he needs to, which leads to injuries.
So to me, you went Rojo. I'm looking at Eckler here a lot. I like Eckler. And then, but the other thing is, do you take the shot that we saw with Patrick Mahomes last year with Kyler Murray? The first pick in the draft.
I just don't think that the Arizona offense is good enough around him. You've got an aging Larry Fitzgerald. You've got a David Johnson who hasn't been great the last 2 years. I don't really know I know this guy's being drafted 6th overall in the top 5, wherever you want to put him in your draft. And I don't even know how I feel about him, to be honest with you, this year. And so I really fear the talent around Kyle Murray. And I don't know a lot about the Arizona offensive line either, to be honest with you. I guess I would need to do a little bit more homework, guys. Please understand that this is
not good. It's not great.
We're just trying to get into. I'm just starting to do my studying here, and I like to look at offensive lines. To me, that's a factor when it comes to my drafting.
They're still not going to be
running
great.
backs. So I get fearful with the rookie running back with a rookie quarterback if he's got an underperforming running back and a poor performing offensive line. That leaves this guy making poor decisions. And,
see, but the difference with Murray is he's arguably one of the best running quarterbacks in the league. He can scramble like a mofo and get yards, and if that's the cheat code of fantasy football,
he's undersized.
He is. So one hit and he's dead. But
one hit and he's dead.
All right, I'm gonna take Austin Eckler.
You gonna do it?
I'm gonna take Austin Eckler, and I feel pretty good about running back now. We got some lottery tickets. Let's see if Cam Newton makes it back. Yeah, there goes Kyler.
There goes Murray.
Here's Cam.
There goes Cam. Let's take a look at what we got.
Dude, so
someone that's played really, really well, surprisingly still on the board, in Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked. This was a.
So me, man. I'm cool with Jameis. Phillip Rivers. I would take Big
Rivers
Ben.
is another guy who every year we say this, right? Every year he's a top 10 quarterback, and
he's usually top 12,
and
top 13, top 12.
Every year he's being ignored. Well, I think I read a stat. I think we talked about this in one of our podcasts with Phillip Rivers finishing in the top 7, like 6 out of the last 7 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tom Brady, huh?
Won't touch him.
See, I'll never say I won't touch Tom.
We're talking fantasy football, though, not real life, Dennis.
Well, I still love you, Tom.
So to me, I mean, there's just
Too many.
so many goddamn good
Too many,
quarterbacks
yeah.
still there. I would be fine with Josh Allen.
I'd be fine with Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I would too.
And he's even down on that list.
He's down so low. He had a back injury midway through last year, and they traded away.
You want to know
Golden
a guy?
Tate?
A guy that I'm up on? Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins can have a huge bounce back. When you're talking the two receivers that he has,
between
and
Diggs
Thielen and Diggs,
yeah.
and then you found a way to keep Kyle Rudolph, and then you went and drafted a stud tight end, second tight end. They could be running a double tight end set, and with a healthy Dalvin Cook, I could see easily. I'm not saying but I could easily see Cousins having a bounce back.
That's why, I still
second year in that offense.
I still don't even think we need to take a quarterback at this point. So that being said, what do you want to do here? I mean, you got Courtland Sutton, which intrigues me. I'm off the Corey Davis train.
Let's take a look at available wide receivers.
So, as a rule, I generally never take rookie wide receivers, even though DK Metcalf is a physical freak. He unfortunately went to Seattle, which they want to run the ball. They don't want to throw the ball.
What about Golden Tate? Golden Tate's interesting to me in New York.
He is to me. I mean,
in the 11th round.
He got traded early enough that he can learn the offense. But yeah, I mean Tate he's a yards after catch monster.
He potentially could end up being the number one wide receiver on that team.
It's not potentially. He is the number one wide receiver.
No,
Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is their number one wide receiver.
No, they have why am I missing his name? I think he's already been drafted as well.
Sterling Shepard?
Yeah, Sterling Shepard.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, he has. He went in the 9th round. He's definitely right now.
Did he really? I thought he was still on the board.
He's ranked higher than
or off the
Golden
board.
Tate, but I believe that Golden Tate potentially could end up being.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the number one receiving player on that team is Evan Ingram, but that's a conversation for a different day. Given my pick, I think we need to add another wideout. Golden Tate.
Fine. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Let's go Tate.
Look at the receivers just bing, bing, bing. Oh, guys, look at someone took a defense. Please don't do this to me.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, so 4 rounds left. So
we still need a quarterback. We have to drop a kicker in the defense. So really, potentially, we've got one player left here before we have to take the other 3 players that have to be picked.
And if you're watching this and you're not in our league, always ask your commissioner if you are forced to draft a defense and a kicker.
Yes.
Because if they don't force you to do that, you can take lottery tickets on players because injuries happen in practices.
Yeah.
And then right before kickoff, just pick up anybody.
Especially if you're drafting early. Most of my leagues, we like to draft on and around.
100%. If you're
on or around or after that 4th preseason game, really at least after that 3rd preseason game where most starters play. But if you have to draft before then, in some leagues they can't find the time.
Draft handcuffs.
You definitely need to ask that question because that question is huge. Because given the choice, I mean, unless you're chasing a top defense or kicker, fine if that's what you want to do. But if you're not, I'd rather have like 1 more receiver and 2 more running backs to protect myself. Because you can always drop those guys for a defense and a kicker. So.
All right. So that being said, how do you feel about taking Ito Smith, considering we picked up Devonta Freeman?
I think this late in the draft, it's a great choice.
So I think we handcuff Freeman, knowing his injury and the fact that we know Atlanta's going to be a high-powered offense. So.
And we did not get the opportunity to handcuff Gurley, so it's good to draft to protect with one of our top 2.
But the good thing is, I mean, if Gurley comes out and he is fine, and we're 5-6 weeks into the season and he's still the man, Darrell Henderson's probably going to get dropped. That team is going to want to make moves. They're not going to want the dead bench space, so we'll get him for free anyway.
Right.
So we're taking that risk. But Ito Smith has standalone value. We know they like using 2 running backs in that offense. So Ito Smith, even with Devonta Freeman on the field, he's a fringe flex play.
We know the offense. We know the offense likes to.
I say we take Ito.
All right, I like it.
Jerick McKinnon intrigued me as well, only because they have so much money into him. But
That whole
they've got so many running
it's a
backs,
disaster
man.
over there.
It's a complete disaster. All right, so let's look at let's start looking at a quarterback.
Yeah, right.
And there's so many good.
Oh my God,
so
Tom
many
Brady, guys. I'm messing with you.
Touchdown, Tommy. Tom Brady, unfortunately, he's one of those. He's an amazing game manager, an amazing NFL quarterback, but it's more so that the way the team has morphed, it's more into
Power running, man.
Yeah, power running. Let Tom Brady do his thing, and don't make stupid mistakes and just win. So
Yeah, good decision making and long drives do not lead to fantasy football championships. At least the Super Bowl championships.
So
That's not what we're doing.
This may surprise you, but the guy that's intriguing me most right now, out of all of these, it's actually Dak Prescott.
Okay, because that's who I would be drafting myself. So
once Amari Cooper came over to that offense, and keep in mind the Dallas offensive line is fantastic.
Yeah.
Dak was a different quarterback. Dak had nothing before. He had no weapons, and they ended up bringing in Amari Cooper, and all of a sudden a light bulb went off. And I think at that point on, if you look back, he was like the quarterback. I want to say like the quarterback 6.
Yeah, I was going to say 5.
It was 5 or 6 on the rest of the year, so I'm okay with Dak.
And another thing I like about it, and I don't expect him to have a lot of
Take
fantasy value, but the fact that Jason Witten's coming back
Yeah.
gives Dak one more guy that knows that offense well to throw the ball to. So I like Dak Prescott a lot this year.
So I prefer streaming defenses, but let's take a look and see what's left. So the Vikings D is there.
Houston's D is there.
Houston D, the Cowboys D. So all good Ds. But, I mean, let's take a look at kicker. So we can take Justin Tucker now.
Come on, it's the number one kicker in fantasy.
So some people argue Greg the Legatron. I would take Justin Tucker here all day long.
That's fine. And we're going to draft the defense, folks, just because I want to draft the whole team to give you an idea of what your team could potentially look at.
I don't give a shit about defense, though, because like I said, we can stream that position on a week-to-week basis.
Well, it's our last pick anyway, so we'll just see what falls to us there. And we might actually land Minnesota, which we did. Oh, no, we did not. I apologize.
It's fine. Texans D is fine.
Houston's fine.
So
I from last year.
But it's all matchups, and you always want to look at the week 1 opponents. So, but in this case, it doesn't matter. We're just going to take the Texans.
Okay.
But
and all right, there we are.
So let's go back up top. Take a look at our team. So, yeah, we have Devontae Adams, Todd Gurley, T.Y. Hilton, Devonta Freeman, Chris Godwin, Kenyon Drake, Hunter Henry, Robbie Anderson, Ronald Jones, Austin Eckler, Golden Tate, Ito Smith, Dak, Justin Tucker, and Houston. So I think it's a pretty balanced team. Again, drafting from the 7th spot, I'd be fine with this team. I think we went very high risk, high reward on the running backs early. But if they hit, I think this team with those 2 wide receivers, it's got potential. But yeah, that's about it, man. Anything else you want to add?
Can't wait to see you on draft day, guys.
Yeah, for real. All right, well, this has been fun. We're gonna sign off.